Welcome. This is the Wrestling Replay. I am Cato. Welcome to episode number 17, Money in the Bank edition, Blood and Guts edition. Yes, this is absolutely late. I had the vid. It got me. So I was sick all week, wasn't able to do the video, but of course, I cannot skip a pay-per-view. I would have skipped a regular week, I ain't gonna lie, but I'm not gonna skip a pay-per-view. We got the Money in the Bank to talk about. A lot of stuff to break down there. We got Blood and Guts to talk about. So if this is your first time viewing the channel, if you like what you're hearing, please go ahead, hit the subscribe, like. Make sure you turn your notifications so anytime I drop a video, you'll be the first to know. And if you're a repeat viewer, you already know what to do. But we are going to jump into AEW first this week so we can roll right into WWE, roll right into Money in the Bank. So, Blood and Guts Dynamite. Let's start off with the match and everything that happened. We got to see Orange Cassidy get a win over Ethan Page. We got to see Luchasaurus get a submission win. Now, I like the fact that Luchasaurus decided to team up with Christian Cage. I like this version of Luchasaurus that we are getting right now. This is somebody who I wanted to see in a singles competition for quite some time now. So with him being with Christian Cage being that mouthpiece for Luchasaurus, I think it works out great. We've seen Danhausen and FTR. They defeated the Ass Boys with Matt Caster. This is when we finally first start to see a little distinction between the Ass Boys and the Acclaimed. We got to see Jade Cargill. She defeated Layla Gray. Watch out for Layla. Like, she has been everywhere. We see her all over Dynamite. We see her all AEW. We see her all over WWE. We see her on the independent scene. So she's working, bro. She's working. I acknowledge it. Watch out for her. It's going to be interesting to see where she ends up in the long run. All right. Now we can finally get into our Blood and Guts match on Dynamite that took place. I have to say, for me personally, that Blood and Guts match was way too long. Way too long. I love the worst game style matchups. Absolutely love it. But I think with them adding a 6-on-6 style matchup, especially with War Games where the match really doesn't start, or the Blood and Guts match, I guess we'll call it, doesn't really start until the last man entered the ring, and then we have to have a legit match. That's a long build just to get the match started. It was entertaining, I will say that, but honestly, it was way too long. I believe it was like an hour long, if I'm not mistaken. For me, I would have preferred to keep it the 4-on-4, like traditional. I don't even mind the 5-on-5. The 5-on-5 wasn't even too bad. But yeah, this match was really long. I did like the ending of the matchup with Claudio getting the tap out victory instead of Eddie Kingston making Jericho tap out. Now with that, just build more distinction between Eddie Kingston and Claudio. This is going to be a really good feud. I like to see where it's going to go. It's going to build right into Daniel Bryan and Eddie Kingston. I'm hoping by time, not Daniel Bryan, sorry, Danielson. By time that comes into fruition, I think you'll just build towards that. But that would mean that Eddie Kingston would have to go over Claudio, which that part I don't really like too much. So if they're going to build the feud between Claudio and Eddie Kingston, or if it's just going to be kind of bickering back and forth until we get Danielson back, and then we'll see Danielson and Eddie Kingston go at it one-on-one. Either way, I love when Eddie Kingston is inside the storylines because he brings that believability factor. He brings the passion in everything he does. His promos, his wrestling inside the ring. It all just comes together. It all clicks. He's great when he has a spotlight. So I like the fact that he's in another storyline going forward. Now, everyone talk about the cage throw, I guess, of the year. With Sammy going off the cage, they instantly want to compare it to Mick Foley. Me personally, I look at it like this. One, I don't think that spot should have even happened. Not with Sammy anyway, because really that happened. That should happen to Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho. I feel like that's where it builds to, even though he wouldn't have been able to have Jericho on in the submission towards the end of the matchup. But it would have kind of put the exclamation point on that feud, ending that rivalry. Now it's legitly over with him throwing Jericho off the cage. Now, I don't know if Jericho was able to do that spot. I know he did it before where he hit the ramp, and then the issue was, they got to see all the cushion underneath the stage with Jericho. I don't know why the camera just didn't pan to Jericho's face and just let Jericho's face kind of just sell it and just see the pain in his face instead of having the full view so everyone can see all the cushion that he landed on. This year, they talk about Sammy going through the table and all the cushion under the table. I feel like it's a situation where, look, we just see him fall, we see him hit, and we cut right back to Eddie Kingston. Look at that evil smile. Give Sammy time to, adjust, give the cameras the best angle to show Sammy lane, and that be it. And then you pan to Jericho looking at Sammy and what just happened, if we want to do it that way. But, I mean, we can't compare every cage throw to Mick Foley in the Hell in a Cell. Okay? Everybody isn't Mick Foley. Sorry to say that. And one, these are guys you want to see week in and week out. So these guys taking the type of bumps that they're taking, it really wouldn't make any sense if you want these guys to go, 20, 25 feet off the top of the cage through a table and then, where are they at on Dynamite? I want to see them again. It doesn't work that way. But all in all, the match was exactly what we wanted from Blood and Guts. It was blood and guts all over the place, action-packed, but for me, it still was a bit too long. Maybe if they would have advertised it being an hour long or second half of the show type thing, maybe I would have mentally prepared more for it. I don't know, but I felt like that 6-on-6, maybe the Stadium Stampede would have been better because it would have been one-on-one action all over the place where you get to follow each person. Maybe they could have had did a split screen and followed 2 or 3 fights at the same time. That would have been cool too. But just to have these guys locked in the cage and pretty much going at it, they put each other through hell. I mean, hats off to everybody inside the matchup because it was still, like I said, it was still entertaining. It was just very long for me. But Eddie Kingston and his team did manage to pick up the win with Claudio, of course, getting the tap out victory. So that was your blood and guts, man. That was your blood and guts. Yeah, not too bad. Let's roll over to Rampage, see what happens. We got the Battle Royal. Surprise winner. Did like the winner, did not like how we got there. To kick off the show, we had the Battle Royal where we seen Brody King winning the Battle Royal to get himself a title shot against Jon Moxley for that interim World Heavyweight Championship. I like Brody King. But for me, I watched Brody King in different promotions over the years prior to him being in AEW. So I feel like I know what Brody King can do. I feel like I understand why Brody King is in the House of Black. It makes perfect sense for me, someone watching it, and other individuals who watch Brody King prior to AEW. But let's talk about the casual fan, right? The casual fan who turned on AEW and said, you know what, I like this show, I'm going to keep watching it. And they bring in this guy, Brody King, like, oh, he looks pretty cool. He's in the House of Black. He fits. Okay, awesome. Whatever. Where's the build-up for Brody King leading to this victory in the Battle Royal for that fan? For me, I know Brody King and Jon Moxley is going to put on a hell of a match. They're going to tear down the house, for sure. But for the average fan, where's the build? This goes back to my gripe with AEW. I understand that you guys want to put the best matches together to make the best show possible as far as a wrestling match standpoint. But you also still need to bring that factor of storytelling, slow rolling things and building it out, letting it play out, because that brings the fans, that draw the fans in a lot more than just us watching good competitors wrestle one-on-one in a matchup. And I felt like that's what we were going to get with Brody King. I loved everything about the Battle Royal, everything that happened, even the way he eliminated Darby Allin. But for me personally, I'd rather for Darby Allin to had won that matchup. I think Darby Allin has been on a hot streak for a while now, and it would have been believable for him to go up against someone like Jon Moxley and possibly be able to defeat Jon Moxley. But with Brody King, it's no way that I thought he would go into that match and defeat Jon Moxley. And the match is going to be in a week's time. You didn't even have time to really build out Brody. You didn't really let him notch any big wins or any real, impactful one-on-one victories for you to even think, the casual fan to think that he can roll over there and defeat Jon Moxley in a one-on-one matchup. So I felt like I already know what's going to happen. Dynamite's going to come. Jon Moxley and Brody's going to turn the house down. Jon Moxley will win this matchup. I don't know if it's going to lead to a feud between the Blackpool Combat Club and the House of Black, which I feel like the House of Black is still kind of in a situation with the Death Triangle right now. So I'm not even sure why that would be a thing, if it is a thing. But there's no way I believe Brody comes in and defeat Jon Moxley. Good match? Absolutely. But it's one of those matches where you know the outcome, you know the winner, and that's just what it's going to be. Now, for me personally, like I said, if it wasn't Darby, let's say you do keep Brody as the winner, because I love seeing new challengers go up there and face the world champion, kind of throw you off your game a little bit, someone you didn't prepare for, someone you didn't think you would be fighting, and now you find yourself in a one-on-one match with them. I wish this match would take place at Fyter Fest. Night 1 or night 2. I wish it would have took place at Fyter Fest. Next matchup on Rampage, we got to see the Young Bucks. They defeat Cato and Hashi. Decent matchup. Honestly, I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's just saying, hey, the door's still open with New Japan. Maybe we're going to see a lot more of these guys on AEW and more often. If that's the case, I'm here for it. But decent matchup. Wasn't anything to really wow you or anything like that. I feel like it was a match just to kind of keep the momentum of the Young Bucks going and building as the tag team champions. And we also got to see Toni Storm. She defeated Nyla Rose, but Shafir and Nyla Rose attacked Storm after the matchup, leading to Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm to fight these two off. So that's going to be the new duo right now. I think this will possibly lead and build out to another match between Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa for that championship, which I think will be good. I think that will be a good matchup. The first one was good. Going at it again. If it works, run it back. That's kind of the thing in wrestling anyway. If it works, run it back. Now, it's time to roll into WWE take-home shows for Monday Night Raw, take-home show for Smackdown, and lead right into Money in the Bank. We're going to get through this pretty quickly. Matt Riddle, he wins a spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Montez Ford, he defeated Jey Uso, leading to more momentum heading into that Money in the Bank ladder match. Well, not ladder match, Money in the Bank pay-per-view for the tag team championships. AJ Styles defeat The Miz. Liv Morgan, she defeated Alexa Bliss. I thought that was really big going into the pay-per-view. Alexa Bliss, I thought she is my favorite going into Money in the Bank, but her losing the matchup, I feel like she loses momentum. Bobby Lashley, he defeats the Alpha Academy in the handicap matchup. And Becky Lynch, she secured her spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match and the main event. Biggest takeaway here is WWE's John Cena 20th anniversary show. A lot of good stories from John Cena that you see throughout the whole show. Just showing the type of man he is, wrestler he's been. If you don't know about John Cena, then you've just been under the rock for the past 20 years. You can't avoid the man. He's been all over the place. More importantly, for me, the takeaway between John Cena and Austin Theory. We got to see these two interact. Theory wanted to introduce himself to John Cena, and John Cena kind of walks off while he's in the middle of introducing himself. Love that. I like the slow build between John Cena and Theory. We're going to get there at some point. I like the fact that John Cena said, look, I'm not coming back right now, but when I do come back, it ain't just going to be for a one-off. So we're going to get John Cena, which that kind of leads me to believe, too, that he may be in the Royal Rumble. If they do not get Roman Reigns and The Rock for WrestleMania, can we possibly get John Cena and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? Not a bad matchup. I think it still sell tickets, not like The Rock would, but it's still a really good matchup. Great episode for Monday Night Raw. Go home show to roll in the Money in the Bank. I did a lot of building for me going into the pay-per-view. Got me pumped up. Can't say the same for SmackDown. Now we got to see Madcap Moss. He earns his way into the Money in the Bank ladder match. Didn't really wow me there. Happy Corbin wins the Battle Royal. Okay, didn't mean anything either, but that does set up a match possibly between him and Pat McAfee at SummerSlam. I like what's going on there. I don't mind seeing Pat McAfee and Happy Corbin at SummerSlam. I think that's one of those matches where, Pat McAfee and the crowd that follows him, he's going to bring them to SummerSlam. This is your second biggest event in WWE. So, of course, you want to bring as many people, as many eyes as possible on a SummerSlam. We also see the New Day and the Viking Raiders. Their match never took place for the fact that the Viking Raiders attacked the New Day. I like the new attitude of the Viking Raiders. I still think they should be a trio. I think they should add somebody else in the mix. We also seen Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka defeat Chauncey, Lacey Evans, and Raquel Rodriguez. It was kind of a brand versus brand match there. So, decent matchup. Didn't really care too much about it. And we got to see Max Dupree. He brings out his two male models, man. It's Mace. Now it's Mace and Mansoor. So much promise for Max Dupree and the male models that he could possibly have. But with these two being the first two guys that he brings out as the people that's going to represent his model agency, I'm not big. I don't think it's going to work. I feel like everything that he's touched so far has worked as far as him in NXT, what he's done. And now him on SmackDown, I thought he was going to kind of nail this. I thought he was going to bring some talent from from NXT to SmackDown as part of a stable. But I'm not sold, to be honest. Maybe if you like it, let me know in the comments down below. But I'm not really sold on this. So now let's get into Money in the Bank. SmackDown didn't really do it for me as far as the go-home show to Money in the Bank. But we are here. We kick it off with the women's ladder match. A really good women's ladder match. We've seen Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, Asuka, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Lacey Evans, and Chauncey Blackheart, with Liv Morgan being the one to win that Money in the Bank briefcase. Now let's talk about that. That's where the real conversation starts. Liv Morgan winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. I had this nice new pop. I'll put you right here, up here with the Fiend. I thought Alexa Bliss was going to be the one to go home and take home the briefcase. I thought she would be the star power you needed to carry that briefcase. I thought she would be the one to go in to defeat Ronda Rousey, leading into a match with her and Charlotte Flair, possibly at SummerSlam. How big would that be? Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, SummerSlam. Not the case. We get Liv Morgan. Now, I don't mind that. I don't mind it for the fact that I feel like there was two people in this matchup where the briefcase could do something for that person. One being Chauncey and her new heel role. I think that briefcase would have really shined the light on her. It would have really put more attention on her. She's a great worker, great talker. And that briefcase would have ultimately been something to hang over the head of whoever the champion was. If it was Ronda Rousey, the face she sells, she's money. I would have loved to see someone like Chauncey carry that briefcase. It does something for her in her career. And Liv Morgan, honestly, does something for Liv and Raquel. You can only pick one. I think Raquel is big enough where she can stand on her own right now. But honestly, Raquel is better in a heel role. This baby face role she got with Raquel, we're not working. Maybe if she was in the tag team, something like that. But I really liked her best when she was a heel with Dakota Kai, when she was playing that protective role, making sure no one touched her. I think that's when you really got to see her break out. That's when you really wanted her to see her one-on-one, see what she could do by herself. But not the case here. I don't like this babyface role. Now we got Liv Morgan. I live with the briefcase. It can do something. I feel like this pay-per-view reset the WWE. That's what I feel like it did. I feel like it reset everything. Now with Liv Morgan winning the briefcase, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? We find out later on in the night when she defeated Ronda Rousey for the women's championship. Ronda Rousey had an amazing matchup with Natalya. An amazing matchup. Can't lie. She worked her ass off. Could it be a fact of her just being in the ring with someone like Natalya? We watched Natalya work with, veterans and rookies and make everyone look amazing. So I think this is a match where she's paired with the right person. Now, Ronda Rousey wins this matchup. Her leg is banged up. Liv Morgan comes out and cashes in. Now, when we get these Money in the Bank matchups, right? I feel like it's always a quick cash in. With Liv coming out, I didn't think it was going to be a cash in this pay-per-view, but when I seen Ronda barely able to stand and her getting her hand raised, I said, damn, this would be a perfect time for Liv to come out and try, but she did just go through that ladder match. And before I can even finish that thought, Liv Morgan makes her way down to the ring. I didn't like her being in that ankle lock for too long. Like, Ronda Rousey is like an assassin, right? I feel like when she locks on these holes, you tap. You tap or it snap. And I feel like with Liv Morgan being in that hole for so long, it may have like diminished the power of Ronda Rousey a little bit. But could that help in the long run? We'll talk about that. Now, I feel like Liv Morgan should have came in, got that ankle lock in, instantly kicked her in the back leg, rolled her up for the pin, and 1, 2, 3 is over. Only 2 women has pinned Ronda Rousey before this, Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, 2 amazing talents, 2 of your top women in the WWE, period. Now you add Liv Morgan to this list. Where does Liv Morgan go from here? Hopefully, if Ronda sticks around, this leads to a heel Ronda. I would love to see Shayna Baszler get into the head, get into the mind of Ronda, telling her, look, you need to go back to doing what you do. Don't worry about these fans. Go out there, break bones, and get your championship back. Heel Ronda is the best Ronda. This babyface Ronda, I'm not really a big fan of it. The fans like it, but I feel like the pop kind of wears off. It kind of depends on who she's in the match with to really set it off. But heel Ronda, perfect. Oh man, she's amazing. So I would love to see the likes of Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey maybe develop some type of kinship, some type of partnership, something like that. And Ronda makes her way back if she decides to stick around, which I don't believe she will for the fact that they put the title on Liv Morgan. But if she decides to stick around, come back as heel Ronda. SummerSlam matchup, we could do the rematch with a babyface Ronda, a babyface Liv, possibly get a Charlotte Flair to come in there and, screw over Ronda. Maybe that could work if you want to continue to build towards face Ronda and heel Charlotte. You keep the belt and live for a little bit longer. But me personally, I would like to see SummerSlam roll around. You got 4 weeks. Turn Ronda heel. Let her snap Liv Morgan leg, her ankle, her elbow, whatever she wants to break, and let her get her title back. Now that could lead to Ronda Rousey in a babyface Raquel Rodriguez, if that's what you want to get to a little later on in the year, if Ronda decides to stick around. But for me, I think Liv Morgan, she got the crowd right now, right? This was a great feel-good moment. It's kind of like remind me when Nikki Ash won the Money in the Bank. This is a feel-good moment. You win the Money in the Bank, you win a championship, the crowd love it, they're on your side. But the only problem with Liv Morgan is every time the WWE allows her to build some momentum, allows her to knock some wins under her belt, she runs head first into a brick wall when it's time for the big matchups. This is the first time she managed to win the big matchups. Typically, they give her momentum, they notch her win after win after win, and then she loses in the matches that matter. So with her defeating Alexa Bliss, that's a big win. She go in and win the Money in the Bank, huge win. Title win, huge win. Where do we go from here? Can she beat Ronda Rousey one-on-one if they set this up for SummerSlam? How do we make this believable that she can beat Ronda Rousey in 4 weeks' time before SummerSlam? That's going to be the real issue that they run into. Now let's get into the United States Championship. Another title that changed hands. Bobby Lashley defeats Austin Theory. To me, honestly, it could have went either way. I wouldn't mind seeing Austin Theory win and retain his title and continue to be in the heel that he is, the annoying heel. Possibly leading up to a feud with John Cena, capping off at Royal Rumble, capping off at WrestleMania. That's the title, that United States title that John Cena made famous. He is the last person of relevancy to hold that title, to make you really turn on the TV show and see who's he's going to compete against next. He's the last person to hold it to really bring some prestige to that title. Everyone else that held it, kind of like placeholders. Either they defended it every now and then, or you had a heel who never wanted to defend it. So I think with John Cena, who went in there and decided to do it week in, week out, he really brought some attention back to that title. Now, if we would have kept it on Theory, we could have got that matchup. I think that would have been a great matchup, and it would have been a title that John Cena, is near and dear to his heart. But at the same time, it's like, if I'm bringing back John, and this may be my possible last time having John, do I want him in a world title? Him possibly going to break the record? Do I want to see him just one-on-one matchup, no title on the line, so he can go out with a bang and he can win the matchup, and he doesn't have to worry about having a title run, even though he did say he would be back for a while. So I'm not sure. Now, with what we got, Bobby Lashley winning the championship, I don't mind that either, but I feel like this is the start of a dominant run, which means that he has to defeat Austin Theory again at SummerSlam. Now, Bobby Lashley is someone that we can see week in and week out, someone who puts on great matches, and someone who the fans are, in love with right now. After the feud with him and Omos, it really put him over with the fans after him coming off that heel run. Right? So with him having a title, is someone that you would turn the TV on to see with that championship, to see him defend it week in and week out. Great. But he needs a long run. He's someone, I believe, where if he drops the title, he can actually go for the world title and believable to win that. And these are the type of people that you need to hold your Intercontinental Championships and your United States Championships. Why? Because you don't have that third title. You don't have that TV title or that European Championship anymore. That's the title where your workers could have it. Your workers could hold it. All the new guys coming in trying to make a name for themselves. Now it doesn't have to be a United States Intercon title, the title that people used to make a name for themselves. This is the title you hold just to make your mark so that you can go on to face the top guy. So you can compete with those guys up there. So I like the champions that we have right now in the United States title picture and in the Intercon title picture. I think these guys can both go in there with a match with Roman Reigns right now and tear the house down and be believable opponents to beat Roman Reigns. Right now, Reigns is red hot. I don't see him losing the title anytime soon, but he's red hot, so I don't mind Bobby Lashley actually having the title, but he needs to hold it for a long time. He needs to go in and defeat Austin Theory again at SummerSlam. Bianca Belair put on a really good matchup with her and Carmella. She managed to retain her championship. I like what's going on there. Bianca Belair is on fire. I think this was the matchup where we probably would have seen Asuka one-on-one or maybe Naomi one-on-one, but we needed a new face to come in and challenge for that Raw Women's Championship. And I like Carmella. I like the pick. At first, I wasn't sold, but them leading up to the Money in the Bank match, they sold it, and inside the ring, they did what they were supposed to do, had a great matchup. Now for me, my match of the night, the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions, the Usos, they retained their titles against the Street Profits, but not without some controversy. During the pin, Montez Ford, shoulders clearly off the mat before the ref counts 3. So you know that we're leading to something else. You know we're possibly leading to a rematch with the Usos and the Profits, which I don't mind. I could watch those tag teams all day. Only problem is, man, I don't know how much longer we're going to see Montez Ford and Dawkins together. Dawkins looked amazing in this matchup. Ford put on about 20 pounds of muscle. He looks amazing. These are two guys I could see creative or people in the back. I don't want to say Vince McMahon right now with everything that he got going on, possibly breaking up this tag team because they do not value tag team wrestling. Honestly, I feel like we got the Usos, the New Day, and they said, cool, we'll let this be the two tag teams to go at it. Granted, they're two great tag teams, but you could have kept building. You got FTR, you said, cool, we'll just let these guys go out here and work. And, whatever. Whoever else we throw together, we'll throw them together. But when you get legit tag teams like the Usos, the New Day, and the Street Profits, you add 2 more legit tag teams in the mix, like the Creed Brothers. You can really build this tag team division, but I feel like if they add another tag team into the mix, the Street Profits will probably break up and they will move on to one-on-one competition, kind of like Otis and Tucker, where we see Otis win the Money in the Bank matchup. I feel like it was like a Vince McMahon experiment. What would happen if I put the Money in the Bank briefcase on Otis? Sorry, Tucker, now you're out in the woods somewhere. Gotta find a job, buddy. Hopefully he's doing well, but I do not want to see this happen with the Street Profits. Put on an amazing matchup, an amazing tag team. We're going to see it again, hopefully at SummerSlam. Hopefully it's a no DQ or no holds barred type of matchup where maybe shoulders being down isn't the end. Maybe it's a tag team cage matchup where we got to climb out and no one has to be pinned or something like that. I don't know. But these are two of your best tag teams we have right now in WWE. And I just can't get enough of Ford and Dawkins, man. These guys look absolutely amazing. I feel like they took it to the next level as far as the way they looked, as far as inside the ring, on the microphones. They always been who they are. But I just want this tag team to stay together for the next couple of years. That's me being selfish, I guess. But they're a great tag team, man. Let great tag teams do what they do. I don't know if they have desire to be singles champions or anything like that. But if it's working, please don't mess it up. Please don't mess it up. But we're going to get the Usos and Street Profits again at some point. Maybe at SummerSlam. We'll have to just wait and see what happens. Now for the main event. Men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Matt Riddle, Sami Zayn, Madcap Moss, Sheamus, Omos, and wait 1 minute. Adam Pearce come out and says we have one more contestant joining the Men's Money in the Bank ladder match, and I said, I know Cody didn't do it. In my mind, when the way Adam Pearce came out with that energy and the way he was hyping up this person, it had to be Cody Rhodes, right? I'm like, yo, Cody, come off the injury. He had the promo package on Monday Night Raw. He's going to somehow do it. We've seen him do it in Hell in a Cell. He's going to somehow do it in the ladder match. Could you climb the ladder with one arm? Hell yeah. Grab the briefcase? Hell yeah. I could definitely see it happening. But it wasn't Cody Rhodes. Austin Theory enters the Money in the Bank ladder match. And for me, it instantly just sucks the energy out of the ladder match. Why? We've seen this happen before with Brock Lesnar. You know what's going to happen. That late addition into the Money in the Bank ladder match, you already know your winner. You might as well just go ahead and just fast forward to the end. All the action in between doesn't matter. None of the stories leading up to this matchup no longer matter. You just wasted, I feel like, a month and so of storytelling, of building, of matches. You wasted it in 30 minutes by putting Theory into this matchup. If this is what you wanted, he should have dropped that title on a Monday Night Raw, and then he should have qualified for himself to be in the ladder match prior to this. We wouldn't have known who was going to win. It still would have been a mystery. It still could have been someone like Matt Riddle, who's been on fire. It could have been someone like Sami Zayn, who would have been fun, especially with him right now being an honorary Uso and telling Roman he would never cash into him. He would cash in on Brock, but never on Roman Reigns. That would have been a fun person to have the briefcase. Now we get Austin Theory. But I will tell you how it worked. I did not like how we got there. I love storytelling. So I did not like how we got there. But it worked because when he won that briefcase, I seen so many I hate this tweets. I seen so many people on Instagram saying, oh man, Vince, what a horrible decision. I hate it. I'll never watch WWE again. And I say, that's the reaction they wanted. He's a heel. Not only that, he is one of your top heels right now. They want you to hate that he won. They want you to hate that he has the briefcase. They want you to hate him taking selfies and all of this stuff. So you gave them the exact reaction that they wanted by him winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. Do I see Theory going on to defeat Roman Reigns? Hell no. So where are we going from here? I think him holding the briefcase is kind of cool now that I'm over the fact that you ruined everything by just not allowing him to be in the match in the first place. But with him holding the briefcase, you're going to tune in. He makes that briefcase, he brings more relevancy to that briefcase. People watch the Money in the Bank because the briefcase means something. It's like holding a title for a year. It means something. So you having it with someone like Austin Theory, it's perfect. You hate to see him, right? You're gonna watch whoever has the briefcase because you're gonna want to see what happens next. You're gonna want to see when they catch it in. So you're gonna pay attention to them. So they made you pay attention to the heel that you probably hate the most between him and Seth Rollins. They made you pay attention to him. Perfect. But what I really want to see now is Theory is going to go into SummerSlam. He has a shot to win his United States title back against Bobby Lashley. Are they going to allow him to hold that U.S. title and the briefcase at the same time? God, I hope not. I like Bobby with the United States title. Let him have his run. Maybe lead into a Royal Rumble victory before he drops that title or something like that. I don't know. But let him have his run. Let him work week in and week out and continue to build prestige with that title. To continue to face guys that are of higher caliber for that championship. Hopefully they introduce a new championship at some point that can go from any brand where it's a real workers championship where guys like your Tommaso Ciampa can hold it, and I'll jump from SmackDown to Raw, hell, even NXT, and defend this European championship, this TV championship, whatever you want to call it. The Workhorse Championship. That's what they need to bring back to WWE. But Theory does not need to win his United States title. I think that he needs to keep this Money in the Bank. I think now you build the matchup with John Cena and Theory. Maybe he has to put his briefcase on the line against John Cena. Why would I face you? Who are you for me to face? Maybe you put that briefcase on the line, kid, and now we're talking. That's going to draw eyes on Austin Theory and John Cena because people are going to want to see John Cena win that briefcase. Now he can possibly win that record-breaking championship, and we can believe him going in and defeating the likes of a Roman Reigns anyway, right? We're going to tune into that feud. It's going to make it even more than what it already is. So I don't think he goes into SummerSlam to win that United States title. Now that I'm over the hatred of the way they rolled it out, that him winning the briefcase, I like him with it on. I like to see what's going to happen going forward. And I'm interested to see who's going to be the next person after SummerSlam that he's going to have a feud with. Will we see John Cena come back at SummerSlam? He says he's going to be around for a while. If that's going to be a year's time, we're going to have great entertainment. But I feel like SmackDown needs that help. Monday Night Raw right now is the A show. It's the bigger picture. They kind of reset. If you notice, they moved all of their big stars over to Monday Night Raw. Superstars have been jumping from brand to brand. I don't know if it was just because of Money in the Bank, but I feel like they've been doing it before then, and we blamed it on WrestleMania season. So if they continue to jump from brand to brand, maybe the brand split isn't as real. Maybe the champions are the only ones really stuck on different brands, on certain brands like that. But I gotta hope that John Cena appears on SmackDown. Because even though they are killing it in viewership still, I think that as far as star power go, they don't have much. So John Cena would help if they continue to build between Theory and Cena. That's going to be really good. All in all, I think Money in the Bank was a really good pay-per-view. Really, really good pay-per-view. Every match kept me entertained. I liked Ronda Rousey and Natalya. Everyone thought that match wouldn't be that good. Ronda sometimes selling isn't the best, but this matchup, she did a hell of a job. She worked her ass off. She dropped the title to Liv. You gotta respect that because she could have easily held that title hostage. I'm the biggest star. I draw fans in. I'm marketable. I'm money. She could have easily pulled that little stunt, but she didn't. She worked. She played ball. Love it. But this pay-per-view as a whole, great pay-per-view. Not a match I would skip. Awesome throughout the whole show. Only tiff with me is that Theory coming in late as a late entrant into the men's Money in the Bank, because it pretty much just told me exactly what was going to happen, told who was going to win, and I didn't like that part of it. And honestly, I want to see when people cash in, man. I want to see longer matchups. I would love for the women and the men to cash in these titles, not to have that little 2-3 minute matchup. Maybe let the champs show they got a little bit more in the tank. Let them fight for like a 10-minute match and still ultimately get to the point that you want to get to of them losing. Maybe they're tired, maybe they're exhausted, and they just don't have it, the gas tank in it anymore for them to retain that matchup against someone fresh. But let's get away from these 1 and 2 minute matchups, man, with the cash-ins as far as that goes. But other than that, man, that's really it. That's my only issue with Money in the Bank was that Theory came in late. I would have loved for it to be Cody, but, you know, whatever. Can't wait for Cody to get back. That's another thing we got to talk about. Cody Rhodes will be back at some point. I threw a lot of names in the hat to win the Royal Rumble. John Cena, The Rock, Cody, Bobby Lashley. It's a lot of names. This Royal Rumble, I think this year is going to be a really good Royal Rumble. I think last year they realized this was one of the worst Royal Rumbles in history. And I think they realized that, look, this year we're going to redeem ourselves. It's so many men that could come in and win that Royal Rumble this year that makes sense. It makes sense when we get down to that final 6. I'm not going to even say 4. That final 6 competitors in the Royal Rumble. I think it's going to be 6 men where you can believe and you can have a storyline for either one of them to go out there and go to WrestleMania and face who I believe will be the champion, Roman Reigns at the time still. And I think it will be believable for either guy. But that was about it, man. Biggest takeaway from this tag team matchup. Oh, my favorite matchup, I'm sorry. Tag team matchup, Uso, Street Profits. I love the RK Bro off the top of, with RKO, off the top of the ladder with Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle. Crazy spot. Seth Rollins is still one of the best wrestlers in the world today. However you want to slice it, however you want to cut it, he is what he is. Let's talk about that real quick, man. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. People are constantly saying that these two aren't being used properly, that these two are being overlooked, these two are bored or upset with the roles in WWE, and I can't disagree more. I feel like guys like Seth Rollins and women like Becky Lynch, every so often you get wrestlers who come in and they are so good, they are so over, that they don't need titles to define them. They don't need a title to make them relevant. If you see their name on the match card, if you see them being promoted, it's still going to draw you into that card. It's still going to draw you to that event, and you're going to go watch them. Seth Rollins, he does not even need a championship right now, and he is still putting on great shows, great matches, even with the likes of Elias. Elias is a great in-ring talent. We watch this on AEW all the time. 2 great guys that can wrestle, and they put on an amazing show. Seth Rollins to go out there and does the same thing. Right now, he's in a boat where he can just entertain. He can be this character that he wants to be. He can go out there and wrestle the matches that he wants to wrestle without the pressure or him having to have the title or having to be in the storyline where it involves the title. Becky Lynch is in the same boat right now. She's killing her role, and she's having fun doing it. It doesn't matter. Losses doesn't even affect these guys anymore because they're so relevant and so over. Got so much heat behind them that you're going to tune in. You're going to watch it no matter what. And that's a great position to be in. That's just my small take on what I've been seeing about Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins in the past couple of weeks. As far as what people have been saying, if they don't win the Money in the Bank ladder match, then they're done. Couldn't be more wrong. But that was everything that we had during that week of Money in the Bank. Monday Night Raw, AEW, Blood and Guts. Good week of wrestling. Smackdown kind of disappointed me a little bit. But that was about it. I will be coming back with another video as far as this week goes. We're going to recap everything that happened this week. And yeah, I'll see you guys back very shortly because of the turnaround. But this is the Wrestling Replay. I am Cato. I'm signing out. Peace.